There's a saying that you want to go somewhere, you don't really take people to have nothing there.
When you are in your comfort zone, that means your area where you go, you tend to feel like, oh, this is everything. The comfort zone kills your potential. And the best way you're going to know that maybe you are doing less is when you see somebody else that are quite really doing better.
To me, I was very justified. I had to interact with people that were coming from rich home. I had to interact with people who had nice cars. I had to see places. I got to see places with people. Even though Facebook back then, people my age back then use it for jokes, that things, chatting. Mine started shifting. I started seeing people taking courses online. I started seeing people being excellent all around. Before, my mentality was to be excellent. The only way you can be excellent in your life is as a first man. My dad usually go, the old way you can be in life is if you have a great day. At this, with a first class, I get a job that pays you 300k, so like big money thing, 300. I'm not going to say this to maybe downplay the role of people. Yeah, and that may be a very hard decision for some children to take.
Yeah.
But it's what I don't want to say exactly, but if you are wise, you understand what I mean like that money online. That was the same time my mom called me that she had something very pressing.
Yeah.
And truly it was pressing. I had this money, but I knew how to invest it. To invest it on myself thinking in order to get to the higher level.
So do you help her? Now, cool thing, the Diary of the Doer. It's not just regular shows that, you watch on Instagrams. We're here digging in deep down about businesses and people that are actually practically doing these things. Some results that you might not be seeing on Instagram, some things people are not talking about, but something that is in depth, the reason, the behind of every single thing young startups are quite building. So that is why I decided to embark on this journey of the Diary of the Doers. So today I've got a very practitioner, not a business owner, not an entrepreneur, but a doer of the so-called business. Because in the line, we will look at how things is being structured and how people look at things like people love the accolades, the award, the success, the monetary, but what happened behind the scene? So today, that's why I have the great guest in the show, which we're not interviewing her, but we're actually going deep down about how things get started and how we can get more best out of everything. So in the studio, I'd go Victoria Micah. Did I pronounce it right? Well?
Sure.
Victoria. Okay. So Victoria Micah. So tell the audience what you do and your name.
All right. First of all, thanks for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Victory Michael. I'm currently a student in Doer, studying in collaboration at Open. And I'm a business enthusiast. I love business, startup ideas. For Akino, it's not just about the ideas. While asking myself that I love ideas.
Well, that's good to hear. So don't just say maybe, oh, she's a student. We're not talking about people doing very great. We're talking about people that are really doing the things behind the scene. So, which way? So, in this show, we're going to go more in depth about things that people might not be saying. They get a point. So, and, it's going to make a lot of sense. You ready?
Yeah.
Great. So, before we even talk about your business, who were you before all this started? Victory herself, who were you?
Okay. I'll go back to 2020 in secondary school. But I was this kind of person that I was focused on school. My dad usually tell me, the only way you can make it in life, you have a good pay. Okay? With a first class, I get a job that pays you 300k. It's not like big money, it's like 300k.
That was there, Isha. It's a lot of money. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, I have to be good. I have to read that. For what it worked, because I was getting better is like at the secondary school.
No, that's true.
But then it took me 2 years. I stayed, I think, for 2 years, but I got and I job twice. So this period of time between my secondary school and when I gained admission, that was a major shift. That made shit happen. I started taking courses. I started having friends on Facebook. Even though Facebook back then, people use it for people my age back then, use it for jokes and things, chatting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started to have friends, even though it started not intentionally. So just really one or two people on my friend list that were just sensible and toxic, sensible things that I happened to read them and I was like, oh, there is no to life plan.
Just chatting.
Yeah. And these people, I started to have more and more. And then my mindset started shifting. I started seeing people taking courses online. I started seeing people being excellent all around. Before, my mentality was to be excellent. The only way you can be excellent is right at the first class.
Degree. And probably that instilled that in you.
So it's very instilled. So I started seeing people that I'm not going to say this to really downplay the goal of parents. Really very huge. I love my kids.
Yeah. I do love mine too.
Yeah. But they're saying that if you want to go somewhere, you don't listen to people who have not been there. Yeah, and that may be a very hard decision for some children to take.
Yeah.
But it's what I don't want to say exactly, but if you are wise, you understand what I'm saying. Not in listen to what I heard, you love them here. So I said to take course. My first course like towards I'll call it very young, but I snuck out of the house and I knew they would not allow me. They can't. It was a voiceover course.
Okay.
I'm a voiceover artist.
Oh, great.
So I paid for the course. I gathered money. I worked for months and I paid for the course. So $70,000 back there.
Oh, that's a lot of money, right?
Yeah. So I did it free courses. I just like boom step up. Okay, not to digress from the question. That's just major shit. Before I started to know the importance of doing leveling up personal development. That was kind of personal.
Oh, that was very, very insightful. And if you look at the fact that you, in the parental language, are being rebellious, trying to go in a different shit, how do you think at those times, do you think you're doing the right thing, even though it doesn't look like it's the right thing? How do you feel in the, dad wants you to go this direction and I understand the statement which you said, like, it's not about whosoever you're going to listen to has to be a practitioner who have done what you are trying to accomplish and do. And that is the best way, easier to actually accomplish. Because if it is easy, and if everything is good, our parents will be millionaires and billionaires. So, and they try to make us being safe. So how do you feel the fact that dad says this and you're trying to get this? How do you feel about that?
So me, I was very justified. That's why many of the things I did, and then I did not even let them go because I was not fine. They found out something, but that pressure, like the environment, I just knew the environment was not something I wanted to be in. So in my mind, I was very justified doing everything I did. I don't regret it one bit, even back then.
And even to that, like, I agree. So, what are some exact moments in your life you said, I can continue like this, I have to do something my way, even the fact that they want you to go in that certain directions. So, but you trying to go your way is also like trying to make him unhappy one way or the other. Don't you quite like cares about his, the way he feels and, what he wanted you to be and stuff like that. So,
okay. I'll start with something that you said, points that really changed my perspective, but made me decide, no, I don't want to eat.
Okay.
Right. So when I took that course, my first big paid course ever, that voiceover art, it was in Lagos. So I had to travel. It was very far from my home. I saved up a lot of money, and I did not tell my parents. I just Early morning, 6 a.m., I just snuck up to the hut. And I didn't know what I'll tell you when I came back, but I knew I'll just sort it out when I came back. So the whole of, the fact that I went, and when I late, I saw meat. Oh my God. I saw people, like, I have never seen this kind of environment before. People were literally on another level. I had to interact with people that were coming from rich homes. I had to interact who had nice cards. I had to see places. I got to see faces, meet people, have conversation with people that are actually up there. And then when the course ended, I was like, okay, this is just the beginning. So most important, I'll get back home and I'll just be like, oh, my dream here. This was not it to be at all. So from that year, that was in 2021, I'd always known that no, I just cannot. I just have to be better than where I came from.
And the comfort zone, your home, your environment, it's more like you can feel it. It's quite like somewhere you don't quite really have to belong to. Well, that's very, very insightful. Because the most important thing, because that's why I tell people, go travel, go meet new people, go try hear from different people. Because when you are in your comfort zone, that means your area where you grow up, you just to feel like, oh, this is everything. And maybe from your 2 or 3 people of your friends, maybe you are the one that is catching out more. So you assume you are the king of the Zanga in their midst. Meanwhile, maybe you might just be another piece of shit in another person's territory. So that doesn't quite so technically means the comfort zone kills your potential. And the best way you're gonna know that maybe you are doing less is when you see somebody else that are quite really doing better. And that's really quite insightful. So have you ever cried since you started this journey of trying to be something better than what your parents are, looking at all these things, they get to a tough time? And have you ever feel, maybe cried or stuff like that?
Yeah, there have been tough times, physically, emotionally, in particular school and businesses that I do, working online and all that. It's been very hard. So yeah, there are times where I just say, well, is it taking what I could just I don't want to say this, but I have to say it. Yeah. I don't have that mentality, but sometimes thought of failure. I'm a leading. I'm not bad looking. I'm hot. I'm not scared. Right. And you should go to the right places. I'm someone that's good at networking. So I know how to speak to you. And you want to see more of me. So it's like I can just bag a rich man and just like my dick is too high. I'm not born for this. But yeah, you just have to continue. And then there's also the mental struggle to help when you can't afford to help yet. Then I made my first money. Or like that was the same time my mom called me that she has something very pressing. And truly it was pressing. I had this money, but I knew how to invest it in myself again in order to get to the higher levels.
Do you hear that?
Yes. That money she's asking for, it seems to be just a fraction of what I can even give to her. So if I should give her that now, it's not, of course, I'll be saving her, but it's not an investment.
Yeah, practically not an investment.
So if you have financial management knowledge, you should know things that, of course, it's good to help, but you just can't afford. So.
Yeah, that was very simple. In addition to that, in 2021, where we want to get our first office in Benin, so we're told the agent to us, this is the amount of the rent. And I said, okay. And I was like, I was a little bit short fraction of the amount to be quite complete. So I said, okay, give me like 2 days, the money should be. And when I went home that same day and I got a call, I said, Uncle sick. And, exactly money they are requesting is exactly money for the rent.
Yeah.
And I thought, I was like, well, it's like this is the time Uncle's going to die, and I was also like, oh, if you die, will I be able to like quite, forgive myself, this shit like that. And last, I didn't happen. and he fucking died. But I didn't kill him. He's dead.
Yeah.
So that's his own. You get it. So because there are some decision that quite happens in life that when you take, you don't look back. Because turning back hurts the legs. When you do, it's just quite hurt it a lot. And when you see a little bit traction of sales, little bit success, stuff like that, um, the harmonics of doing better, doing good, just enter the head. And along the line, you try to start taking responsibility. Like I tell people, if your siblings need helps about things, they have their parent they should reach out to.
Firstborns.
Yeah, like it's honestly very quite heavy with itself. So that is taking such a bold decision and not helping. So obviously, African perspective of this, he must be a bad child. But the reality fact, practically, was one of the best decision. Like if you have taken such decision, it might cool you back from the milestone of a lot of things. And that's really, really crazy. So after this, we'll work a little bit short break, and before we actually quite continue with this period. And more importantly, that I want most every listeners to understand is that this show is not just a regular show or motivation show. This doer of the diary doer of practitioner people are where we discuss insightful things that you're not going to see on Instagram, you're not going to see on TikTok. The reason behind the ability of building and the reason is why with the things we're quite discussing on this show. So what is one thing you have lost on this journey that people don't talk about? Sometimes something success can actually replace that you've lost in trying to pursue this business and try to, what is one thing you've lost that is dearly to you?
I would say my ability to go far in politics. And I was into politics in my early stages of university, and the assistant course rep, I was vying for some solution delay partner that I was really going far. I was in the SRSP and all that. We're like, oh, you can run for this, run for VP, run for president, support you, and all that. And I was really getting a traction in 100 level. But then I think if I use my 5 years in university in politics, and it's really what I want to do, really put food on the tables of some people, right? But what I want to put food on my table. So I had to make that decision and just cut it off. But it was too late to turn back on the court rep stuff. I just had to manage that. But maybe something I love. I just love to help people, speak out for people. That's why I have interest in politics. I still do. But it's just one sacrifice that I had to make.
And it still does. Like, you still do remember it and you still feel it that.
Yeah, I still do. I might do it later. When I'm
Just doesn't work away.
no, I don't need to work there.
I'm sure it does.
But I can have business and in politics. I think. But for now, let me have my grant.
So that eventually simply means you decide to sacrifice the politics to be able to focus on the entrepreneurship journey. The fact you say you still remember that means it's really a huge sacrifice. Like a very big sacrifice. So guys, we're going to let a few short break in before we return back to the diary of the doer. I think you guys have get a little bit inside, but when we return, you'll be able to say there is more to what you can tap out from this show. Don't forget, I remain your humble self. On this show, we want to say thank you also as well to Think Tessa TV for actually giving us this platform to also express also as well. And if you're actually watching this content, your comments, questions, feedback is actually very urgently appreciated through the comment. or you can make a video using the hashtag AskMoilishow. And my team and I can be able to surf the internet and get the questions, and we can be able to discuss it in our one-on-one questions or the live section as well. So Victoria, right? Victory is in the building, and let's just be a little bit short. We'll be right back.
Success don't come to those who wait, but to those who hustle. Everyone is running to achieve it faster. You've got greater days ahead. Time is your greatest asset. Spend it wisely. Do you want success? Go for it. Don't complain. Go do your thing. You only have one life to live.
Welcome back, guys, to this show on the Diary of the Doer. Now, we're not just telling story, like I said. We are, healing wounds and making sure we actually bring the best that people are not actually seeing outwardly. Everything that actually comprises of building meaningful business from the beginning. And remember, the show is to inspire you and let you know that you have to go do your thing. You get a point. This is my motivational show, but something that people don't actually see behind the scene. And I still got my guests in this show. Thank you very, very so much for doing this to the public. And we are very sure that people watching this, listening to us, or streaming this can actually get insightful and hope they actually get something even better that can help them out of this. So welcome back once again. So now let's look at it. When you look into the mirror, what is one thing that you still doubt about yourself? When you look at yourself in the mirror.
Let's go speed. Very hard. I can dare say nothing. Okay, I dare say nothing. I don't doubt myself. I'm seeing where I'm going already.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm seeing where I am now. And I'm seeing the fact that to get doubt. And I'm consistently working on that part. Right. So I have the year it takes to keep on working on that part. So you don't feel just because you lost, you feel it stop trying. And I don't blame it try. So yeah.
And only when you stop trying is when you can actually feel
That the failure, it might stop trying. Because if you are still in it, what did you fail? You're not.
Yeah. Just like one of my teachers is that I've never seen anybody on the planet that has ever lived or that is going to live that is ever going to fail at anything. No human being has ever failed. You try to unlock your mobile phone and you input a wrong password. It tells you, does that mean you fail? No. It's because you input the wrong data. So when you try something and it doesn't work out, when you say you failed, you define failure by yourself. But when it doesn't work out, just change the password you input to the right one that can actually help us the breakthrough of what you pipe needed. So I think until we people, startups and people generally, especially in Africa, understand that, because when you try something, you get rejected. But so I failed that business. You only feel when you divine it. That means no human being has ever failed. No human being has ever failed. That's very, very clear. So what is one of the most painful feedback you've actually gotten from people that you hope they actually support you in this journey?
Okay. There have been different feedbacks that are not constructive. But there is one.
That are not constructive, like they didn't put it directly.
No. People about critiquing constructive. Yeah, so I'm telling you, okay, this was not done well, but this is how I feel should have been done better. That constructive. What? There was one where I said I was like shawarma business. I used to work with shawarma picking. Someone else is saying. And then when I was in 200 area. So I stopped. I was not being paid, by the way. That's the one thing I think about sacrifice. I said, I was working for someone, I was not being paid. The only thing I knew is that, okay, something enter my mouth. Who would tell me I would start a shawarma business? Maybe sometime later, I would like, how? Because I get a shawarma. I'll just pay for the hot dog. Okay. So, I started this 2 years later now. And then I was just very interested into everybody. I was just really, like, initially wanted to make for myself all about software. Then I get to someone, my neighbor, of my neighbors. And okay, let me try this out, see how it is. I don't know if he did not eat it early enough, if something happened to it, because he was the one that gave me that ever, and the feedback or not the other, it just it's it.
How are you today?
It's like, hey, how was the shawarma yesterday? Did not answer. He just slowed me. Then I was like, hi, how was the shawarma? He said, we want to know about your shawarma. I did not feel it. I did not even feel like it. I had to drink it.
Wow.
Also, sort of input. I was like, okay. So that was it, Sha. That was the work feedback I ever got. You have like shawarma business, but that one, I would just say that as a
Wow. Then when you receive such a feedback, even though it was given for free, and so far it's given for free, at least whether it doesn't taste good or something like the way you put it, shows it at you, makes you feel like.
yeah.
And does that really trigger as a point whereby you're like, oh, are you sure you're really good at this?
Yeah, that was coming to that. Or the next, let's say the next 24 hours, I thought, let me just give up on Spain because I know this is a person that advised shawarma well. I was really okay for this person to become my good customer, and then he just like not really. He still think he did not eat it well. Even to that, he did not. When he ate it like 5 hours later, I gave it or something because everybody that ate it like was good. But again, I was willing to take the criticism. I was willing to take it. Okay, the cabbage was too much or something. Just in something like that. But I said, okay, he was not a good person actually. I would have. But
Okay, yeah, like the feedback, like she really tell you.
hey, what is it to be more like all my? It was like I did not finish everything, and that was not me.
And it was not really ready to communicate.
I had to order negative feedbacks here right there, and I always ask them, what is it that you are complaining about? I'm a person that love with easy day. Tell me what you cannot do right. There might be other people like you. Not there might be. There are other people like you that also blank it that way. So me catering to your own personal preferences means I've captured all those people in that category in the market. So I am very open to criticism, and I think everybody should be too. So you should know how to really enrich criticism and to know that it's a stepping stone to capturing more audience.
All right. So let's take back a little bit back to when you were working for free while you were there to learn before you started. So working for free for some number of time, what does that really does mean to you? And how does that shift you when you started your thing?
Okay. First of all, I used to be I still an avid volunteer, mainly corporate data volunteer that's end of department, a corporate and all startups, organization, yeah. So this person, I wanted to actually connect with this person on rising mentor to mentee dating. Yeah, and so not the only way, one of the good ways I thought we help out these kids. Every day after school, I'll just go and many others they have to be okay. Because the market studies, shawarma, similar for others. And yeah, until first level, I was in that. Volunteering, helping, serving is a way of growing yourself.
Indirectly simply means you'll not become the queen of shawarma by just voluntarily.
I just love it.
And to people now, the big thing about how, people want to start those kind of a business of yours has to go to like business school or shawarma school to go practically something. You were actually working for the person indirectly doing yourself a favor.
Yeah.
And Now, when you actually voluntarily serve people, I think it actually still go back to the foundation of how everything started with you, your parents want you to go this route and you take different risks and stuff like that. And I think people should quite understand something that when you are, everything in the universe does come back. And when you're working for people, and I think I just want to address something about not just only people going to voluntarily works. And I've seen people work 9 to 5 job in some places and they don't actually get the best out of that work. That's because when people go in a place to work, whether for free or getting paid, they actually do those things in a favor. They actually get something back in return. And when you have the mindset of getting something back in return, the goodness and the most important things to suck out of that business, you're not going to be able to because your only mindset is towards. So when he talks about something different from something you're going to benefit from, it looks like a lot of work, a lot of job. And I think this actually as also in 2014, 2015, I went to then was the smallest computer engineering institute in of the state. And it was very small, but currently now is the biggest. So I went there to only spend 6 months of training in there. But 6 months, I think I just knew a little bit, but I would have just decided to move on. But then the business then was not, I didn't make the business in a good shape, and my 6 month completed yet wasn't in a good shape. So I thought, okay, what if I just wait another 6 months to just help out and see what happened? And you're not going to believe that from that time, and I worked 3 good years additional to my 6 month without getting paid a penny. And that was where the whole process journey of my leadership will eventually start from. And it's the name of the company is Victory Technology. Currently, from that time, we moved from him and I, just 2 people in that business. And by the time I was leaving, we now have about 15 men in that business. And we moved from zero, because when I was there, that's 6 months, I can actually record, we didn't make up to 50,000 in 6 months. And something that really amazed me? That man only showed up every good day. And I felt like, we don't make sauce. Nobody knocks our door. We can just pick one day up. He only shows up every day. He shows up and, I don't really understand it. And that was where my understanding about showing up when nothing is working actually originated from. So from that level, we actually moved from me and him to 2. Then sales started coming in. We started recording. Sometimes in a month, we can record millions in revenue from complete 1 year of zero revenue. And the whole thing there is when I was working extra 3 years, it get to the point whereby the team that we're together there doesn't even regard him as a boss, because everything they wanted to just quite come to me. And it gets to the point whereby we started looking alike. And if you come around, you met me and you come back to, maybe you came for something, you came back, you met him, you can't tell because we now speak the same thing. And it's then I was very young. It's a grown up, and I wonder why people can't really tell the difference. Because I felt like, what about my own words? What about I suck myself into this business? And let me see what happens after so number of time. And up to these days, because I used to, tell myself, and my family that if my kid's photo, I'll send him to him, and he can just grow there to because I'm just really very grateful for me taking that moment shift in time to spend that time with him. Because if I haven't, I'm really very sure I'll be in the wilderness, still wandering up and down up to now. So practically simply means that when you love something and you want to learn from people and you don't have the skill, people take this error to go apply for the job for the skill they are not currently competent and good at. And what they would have done better, just like what you did, was that don't work in the place for free. We know in this century now you can't work in a place for free because you need to transport, you need to cater. Definitely, you're going to get a little bit compensation. But the secret there is that you will know more secrets than people that are actually being paid in that job because they're going to entrust a lot of things with you. And before you know, you eventually become your boss and you can go ahead and do your thing. So from your whole story here, I'm really very quite inspired the fact that because you went there to assist and that thing you went to assist became something that is putting food on the table. Can you see how shifted, how crazy that is? You want to add something?
Yes, concerning what you mentioned earlier about people not taking things seriously if it's not paying them.
Yeah, it's not beneficiary to them.
There's this book called The Starter on You by Ray Buckman. I recommend you read that bit. It talks about how you have to treat yourself as a company. You are the company. You are working in a company and all that, but you yourself, you are a company. Invest in yourself. Have inventories for yourself. So it's when you read this book and you assimilate the knowledge, it shifts your mindset from, oh, I am just an employee or I am an entrepreneur to I am the business. I am the entrepreneur. Me myself, I am the brand. So it gives you a lot of insights on things to do in bettering yourself. And trust me, when you are better, everything just seems to fall in place. Just grow yourself. Everything will be attracted to you.
And guess what? When I was serving him, I was not making a lot of money than him himself. And he get to a said, you making a lot of money with me, you're still the company customer, and I'm not offering. What happened was that because I'm broke, but I was serving him, and the office is doing well. One way or the other, some knowledge things start coming that I can, package and offer to the customers. So when people come, they want to buy something they want. I say, hey guys, do you know that something quite is totally different from what the company did? Do you know something? And they eventually pay me in telling the company they'll bring another money to buy what they actually came from. And I was not making more money. And, he was really quite happy with it. But, revenue was laying now, and it's totally 100% totally different. But I would have come to that knowledge of that idea things for such a revenue if I haven't set myself in it. I would have just been like another piece of shit. So now, this part right now, I want us to talk about your business. Because the whole thing we'll be talking about, the doing and, the journey process and everything is. So you started the business. You've talked about where the originator of the ideas conceptualized that from. So how long you been in that particular business till now?
Okay, just about a year.
Yeah, that's still very short. And within a year, looking at even some of the feedback you've gotten, like how much revenue you've quite see in the business is just a year?
Okay, in the first 2 months, we had over $500,000 in bill.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you hiring? I can come and work for you.
Yeah, we actually had one employee.
But that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hold on a moment. This is a student practically sacrificed to go help somebody and takes that thing, turn it into the business. Because on the other hand, you will be your room praying for a good idea for a business to start. Or you pick that and start it, and in 2 months you said, and $500,000, more than $500,000. And that is more than revenue some startups can make in 12 months or even 2 years itself. So from there, how does it start going in terms of the revenue? So,
firstly, when I saw the way things were going, at first it just started from me sharing free for my birthdays, for feedback. And everybody is, this is so good, how much do you sell? And I'm like, you just speak it by the price, shawarma, foreign price, shawarma. I said, okay, you are right. Then I started getting orders and referrals. I didn't even have a flyer yet. I just had to pay start money ads officially, find a name and all that. We started. So it's been going good, but as a student again, having an employee, I would dare say it's even as stressful as being the workers. Yeah, because apart from structures and systems you have to put in place, it is very important. Controlling someone, a whole lot of work, and then having solutions in school and my course in the medical course, so I can't afford to slap back that one. Yeah, well, overall, we are seeking to expand now. We want to get that point, maybe expand and be bigger. Watch by that one.
Do you know some people made, that kind of a money with a short while they will have eventually like, oh, I'm not doing school things again. And they want to like fully focus on that short. Have you ever been for that?
Everybody has made good money. Just what has always thought of that, like, why am I still doing this school thing? Well, I'm not working with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the fact that the start point was like a pig machine, and after sometimes there was some decline, right? You do know? Because that is how the journey is always like. When it moves this way, it moves there. And something great about when you had a very great move up, and when it's declining, this is it. When it moves this way, trust, my shawarma is great. I'm way better. I'm more. This is getting better. Oh boy, extra leadership of the year, those kind of things running. So when the things start declining, now some things are happening that is actually beyond what can be easily comprehended. And what that simply means is that the moment it has to decline, it is a must, and he has to. And why he has to is the fact that the beginning is a start point. There are some level where you're making 500,000 in 2 months. To start making 50 million in 2 months, you need to be another person that is different who is making 500,000. Because for reference, there are some people that when they make 10 million naira, and their mentality, the person they are is 1 million naira. The 10 million has to come to 1 million, then they are high of 1.5 million. I mean, that is when their senses work, because the kind of person they are is a millionaire person. So that means when you jog to more than 500,000 in 2 months, when it's going down, is a time for another preparation for another new high. So now, how long this down is going to take? The time is until how ripe train you have. When you graduated from the class to be making 10, 50 million, that is when this shifts back up. If it takes you 2 years to graduate from that class, because it's a new lesson time, you're going to repeat the class and repeat. So if jam keep jamming you over and over for very long, if it takes 3 years, it's just 3 years. For making 500,000 in 2 months, it will not be making 5,000 in 1 month. So the thing will just keep declining. So once you move from that level of class to another height that will surpass that 500,000 in 2 months to maybe 10 million or 15 million, once you graduated, you're just going to shoot right to the moon. So, and the people don't really get it. When things are declining is when they try to look for the village people. Oh, could that really means that maybe the village people are not after me because maybe yeah. And I used to tell people that village people themselves has a lot of problems they are dealing with. We actually be the least they will ever think of, because they themselves are dealing with a lot of problems. So the definition and how you translate the decline in sales at that time is the process of the class will determine how long that is going to quite really does last. So to go from who is making 500,000 in a month to 2 months, so who is making 10 million in 1 month or 2 months is another year. Or else somebody just going to be in the range of 500,000 in medium, 500,000 in medium, and you will try so hard to I want to get to another shift. And somebody will just keep struggling. Why? Because at the moment, you are actually in the tenure of 500,000 to a million, 500,000 to a million. And that's what even just happened. Some people, for very more than 1 year, they never saw like more than 2 million in their account. The account is only from 10,000 naira to 500,000. When you reach 500,000, it comes to 10,000, 10,000, 500,000. When they be like, maybe something is wrong. Nothing is wrong. You need to grow to somebody who can handle, who owns that kind of amount of money. So now, if this business fails tomorrow, what will you regret that you didn't do today?
Generally or in the business?
Generally, if the business fails tomorrow, what will you regret?
I'll say little, but because I also have different schemes apart from this shawarma business. And it goes right there, I'm able to add it and different things. But if the business fails, it means I did not do something right. I think that's what I will mostly regret. Why did I not get enough knowledge to keep going on? That I was not motivated enough. If I am the one that I don't want the business again, then it's fine. But if I wanted to keep it going and it failed, then I will feel bad. Well, there was something definitely I didn't get right. And if so, why didn't I stick the right knowledge? Why didn't I go for consultancy and all that?
To make it keep running. So that's what you're going to regret. And that simply means you will be the one responsible for that's a very, very massive task. The fact that you take accountability makes you to be like, oh, probably the next startup, and you make sure such a thing doesn't really quite happen. So what is one thing in this journey you've never shared with anyone that you might, you would like to whisper to, the public that you actually know really sure?
Should this is anyone?
It's probably that could be quiet, mix, because the thing that is people don't really listen to, and if you go back to the fact your parents said takes that in direction, it's because they want you to be safe.
From the of your heart.
Yeah, so and they're trying to do you good. They get a point. So, and there are some maybe struggles or some things you face one-on-one that you not really disclose to the public. That if it's okay, you want to share.
Okay. I'm saying I mentioned something like this earlier, but no matter how you love someone, if they are not currently near the want to be, don't this extent cut off from them. That's just the thing. There are some people I love them with all my heart, but there are some environments, some mental states I will just be in. I don't want to pick their calls because I know if I pick their calls, their energy just draws you down, and then when you are out of the call, you're just like Mabel's like, you are no longer on that frequency you were before you took that call. So there's some people you should not see at some point in your life. You love them, you can just tell them hello, bye, come afar, but just keep your distance because you can't afford to help them yet. Their negative energy is stronger than your level of positive energy. It's going to influence you. So that's
that's really, very, very.
Be anybody. Anybody you love.
So technical means the ability to cut up people up if they are not. But that's good, like, and this is going to be the second to the last question, Selisha, which is, if you could go back from the beginning process, what is the one thing you would like to correct or fix
Different.
Yeah, that could actually make a difference in today's.
Taking action immediately. That's one thing I am seeing recently the importance of doing that, and I wish I knew that earlier. That idea comes to you, okay, don't wait. In fact, sometimes it's even better I'll just not spend too much time on research, especially if you're an overthinker, you're someone that is highly analytical. You want to see every nitty-gritty of the whole plan. You want to see how it will go in the next 2 months. You're not in the next 2 months. You don't know how it will go. Start now. Get feedback. Will improve. See how it's going. Get more feedback. Improve. Take action immediately. Don't spend too much time planning. Yeah.
How are you going to when you use the statement? If you're the kind of person you're overthinkers, not everybody knows themselves. So, how can you share a little bit the kind of person, which maybe some people listen right now can. So, how can you define who is overthinkers? And maybe somebody can, you can just have some that doesn't know that he or she is overthinker.
First of all, I'll give you a pointer. If you were brilliant in your secondary school, you are definitely most likely an overthinker.
If you're brilliant.
Yes, if you were brilliant, you were this kind of person that like, oh, she's just so morally upright. She's always neat up, this, that. You are most likely an overthinker. And you see these rats people, the people that just like say things that come from their mouth and they're just like, oh, sorry, I didn't want to pain you. And just that, those people in life, they'll actually, this their masculine outgoing energy, actually take them further than you with your quiet, okay, I want to see how it goes, hope it will, they won't be worried about what I'm doing and all that.
And trying to get people to validate your opinion.
Validity, oh, I want to make sure I'm doing by everybody. I want to make sure I reduce the people that are offended by what I do. I want to follow peace. It's all, man. That's all, man. Like, yes.
That's good. So before the last part of this show, if you are a practitioner doer, listening to a process journey, not a story, but the journey itself. If you're a practitioner doer and you would like to be on the show, like earlier, you can use the comment sections or use hashtag #MoileShow on any posts, any videos on any social media platform. My team and I is going to get at, and we can be able to reach out to you and see how we can actually share your story to the public. So yeah, that, okay, you want to share something? Okay.
Yeah, I want to add one more thing. Also, if you are this kind of person that has always been used to like, people tell you, oh, you do this thing so well. I love the way you do things. You are talented. You are multi-talented and you have a track record of being good, especially people that your parents look up to you and then your siblings look up to you. And everybody's like, why can't you be like that girl? You are most likely going to have things, be over analytical because you are already used to the fact of doing things perfectly and like, don't work that way, my dear. You have to get used to the fact that not everything you will come out perfect and that's okay because there's always room for improvement. So get out of that shell of being used to people saying you are good. Not every time. You are not even supposed to be good every time. I mean, if you are good every time, everybody around you is saying you are good. You are not need to right environment. If you are the highest in your room, are you really sure you want to be in that room? Oh, yeah.
So you need to get to a room where you can actually learn and you can look up to people. But when you are that's very massive one. And this is actually the last one I want to ask you, very important one. What does Victory really want beyond the shawarma, followers, sales? What is the silent dream that keeps you going, even though no one actually claps for you? What do you really want aside from?
Oh, I want. That's a deep question. I can just swim. Okay, what I want. You can dare say I'm crazy, but yes, I said it. I'm very unique. I want my kids to go. No, let me know if you start from there. I want to have kids knowing that they have choices in life. I want my kids to have choices. I don't want my kids to be born and saying, okay, choices could even become false. For example, when showing really a lot of people can relate. There are some places you can't eat. There are some places you just can't go. There are some people you can't meet just because of who gave birth to you. Alright? So I want to be that person that my child can afford to try out many things because that's like the money at home. I feel like an always. So there are some people that you have to best think of a way to make money before pursuing your dream. There are some dreams that are just too expensive to start pursuing. You have to have a level of financial, holding before you start doing something. I don't want my children to start. I want to bring in people to the world that are already up there. they can discern to gain in the world to do. And where I see myself in the next years, 5, 10 years, I see a designer company. We see how one of my WhatsApp number, I just left it there. If you check that number, you check the description, you see Victory Michael, designer, brand. I want to have a designer for makeup, ladies, and this. Taking Chanel, yeah, thinking Hermes, Dior, luxury brand, multi-billion dollar.
Multi-billion dollar. Yeah. Yeah, okay. And that's a very great insight for the part of the last thing you said, which simply means the life your parent couldn't give unto you. You actually want to make such available for your kids. And definitely simply means you have, for that to happen, you have to be a woman or icon that your kids look up to, and that generational good things continues that way. Generational. Yeah. And that was really quite massive so far on the show. And as the diary of the Doer, that is the first episode on this. And believe me, guys, this is the beginning. You have a story you want to share to the public, to the world. Make sure it's not bringing the big entrepreneurial success. No, we ain't looking for that shit. What we're looking for are the people who believe so much more in themselves, or people who just started with nothing, or even you started with something, but the fact that you've got this guts in you, that with your conviction, great things is going to happen. Because if somebody who looks like you and I can do it from nothing, from zero, that means your story needs to be heard before $1 billion company skater. So guys, see you in the hot episode. Thank you.